We are not against whatever the country wants as a priority to develop it, but this development has to be subjected to a sustainable environmental management and decision-making tool. It is that tool that will inform the decision, either to go ahead with the dredging or not. And if we are to go ahead with the dredging, then whatever negative impacts that are anticipated from the process, there will be adequate mitigation measures prescribed. So that as the activity is going on, then whatever negative impact that comes out, it is immediately mitigated adequately. And then the process moves ahead. This is what the Minister of Environment is for. We are not against any development. If science tells us that the dredging should go, of course, we are all learned people. We have embraced science. Then we accept it. So our position as a ministry is let's give science a chance to inform us, because this is what we are for. So, as the Minister of Environment, we still advocate that this activity has to be subjected to to environmental and social impact assessment study. It is that study report which will now give us what should be done. One of the speakers has already talked about environmental and social impact assessment study. The procedure is very clear. Once the proponent of a project wants to come up with a project, then the proponent of the project informs us as a ministry. And then we start the process. What should be done first is the screening. The screening is actually to determine whether that activity requires environmental and social impact assessment study or it doesn't require. This is the first step, is screening. Once that one is established, if the process, the activity requires environmental and social impact assessment study, then we go to the next, the scoping. The scoping is about what is going to be addressed in the study. And then people come out with terms of reference. And the terms of reference and the instructions to be followed during the study. And thereafter we move. This is where our stand is. So, in brief, I would like to say, we know water is a very important component of the environment, especially the aquatic resources, which include the aquatic life. And if this dredging takes place, of course, most of the aquatic life will be negatively affected. So we, as a ministry, let us, or as a government, let us give due diligence chance. Once the decision is made that dredging is going to be made, okay, we go to the next steps. What should be done? This process has to be subjected to the necessary decision-making tools, and in this case is the environmental and social impact assessment study. This is the stand of the ministry. And I would like to say, dredging is not a solution to flooding. It is only a temporary mitigation measure, but it's not a long-term solution to flooding. And dredging will not prevent or stop flooding from coming again. So instead it will make things worse. So what we are advocating for is, let us have the due diligence, then we move on with the process. Thank you very much.
My name is James Nguyen. I am the founder of Nile Health, Safety and Environmental Organization. Nile Health, Safety and Environmental Organization is a non-governmental organization registered and operating in the Republic of South Sudan. We are an environmental protection agency. Our mandate is to protect the environment and also to promote the healthy lifestyle along the Nile Basin. Of course, each of us come from somewhere. I come from Unity State, where it is devastated by flood. I'm very mindful about the flooding, which disrupt, displaced, and affect the livelihood of our people. This is not only Unity State, it is also in Jonglei, in Upper Nile State respectively. I am grateful to be here among the panelists. I would like us to share ideas based on facts, share these ideas intellectually without hurling insult. Because these ideas are a matter of national importance for the benefit and the well-being of our people and our environment. I am delighted and thanks the University of Juba for providing us the platform, because this platform is important. It is important to discuss this matter of national importance, the dredging of the Nile. To that effect, I'm cognizant of the emotion involved regarding the flooding in the Unity States. I urge our people and ourselves to rise above this emotional impulse and also discard this lazy politics, because this is not politics. It is about life and the next generation to come. It is about our resources and our environment, our ecosystems that support the lifestyle of our people. It is also to ensure the livelihood of our people for the next generation. In this century, we recognize that climate change is real. And for that matter, we must do everything humanly possible to protect our resources, our ecosystem, our environment, and the lifestyle of our people. Therefore, dredging the River Nile without environmental, health, and economic and social impact assessment is not a solution. This is required for the well-being of our people. It might negatively affect the life of our people, the ecosystem that we have in our wetlands, and also it will interfere with the livelihood of our people. And this is not acceptable in our view. Finally, our people deserved better life. And better life that we have all along is the waters of the Nile. Our ecosystem deserves protection. Our environment also deserves protection. And this requires a collective responsibility. For us, as a country, we must protect our wetland. For this matter, it is the responsibility of our government to protect our wetland, because the dredging that we are proposing, there are a lot of negatives or things that we need to know that are not very clear to us, the citizen. So as we say, life and the waters of the Nile are our lifeline, we urge the government to put forward these measures of impact assessment first before the dredging of the Nile. I want to debunk the press release that was given to us by the Ministry of Water Resources and Environment. I mean, water resources and irrigation. Simply because the argument that they put forward basically is to mitigate the flood. That was the reason why the dredging has to be done. With that effect, I wanted to debunk it so that all of us have a clear understanding, so we know what we are putting ourselves into is true or not. If we were to mitigate the flood, I say earlier that I come from Unity States, and Unity State is one of the affected states by the flood, badly affected, and people are suffering, of course. We recognize that, and I recognize that as a person. But to do that, how do you mitigate a flood? The argument put forward by the Minister of Water and Resources is that it's to dredge between Lake No and Bentiu, which is 30 kilometers from Lake No. And if you are familiar with Unity State setting, the environmental setting of Unity State, that area is the area of Gwit County. And Unity State, we have about seven counties that leave out Kuch, Mayandit, Lair, and Fanyajar County, and part of Mayon. So if the argument is that is to mitigate the flood, where do we leave these counties? And when this flood happened in Unity State, it started from the source of, especially first in Panyajar, it came to Lair, and it came to Mayandit and Kuch, and then northward. So if the mitigation, if the dredging is per se, if we were to take this argument that the mitigation is done to mitigate the flood, how would it mitigate the flood from the counties that are our source, which was head first, because NAM does not pass through these counties. So that argument is debunked. It is not true that this dredging can be done to mitigate the flood. And plus, if indeed it was to mitigate the flood, this area would be flooded first. It would be flooded first before even the water come to the Nile, to Nam River. So it is not true. And the argument that they did not provide with us is, how deep would the digging be, the dredging of the Nile? These issues were not provided to us. And as people, because dredging, we know from the presenters, that dredging would have negative impact on the environment and the people living around the Nile. So it would be fair and fair enough that we are given with this information so that we make an informed decision as citizens, as a country, and as a country, so that we develop something that would not have an impact on us. For this, I thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I yield. Thank you very much.